Hey everyone, how's it going? Blobinati Cuber here, welcome to Blobinati Cuber. This video is going to be a part 2 of my ECP beginner tutorial. So in part 1 we talked about the first two steps of the ECP method, so that was EO face and COES. If you haven't watched that video, go ahead and watch it. If you have, let's keep going and we're gonna learn the last step, which is P3L, that's right. Permuting 3 layers. So this is done algorithmically. There's a lot of different variants, so let's go over those now. So let's go over the 3-look variants first. So the recommended 3-look variant that we proposed with the original ECP method proposal is called ECP CPEA. Kitty, get out of the cat. Bad cat, get out. So the first step of the CPEA variant is, well, CPEA. So that stands for corner permutation and edge alignment. So edge alignment is basically fixing the parity of the top. So as you can see, this is not a normal PLL that you would get in the CFOP method, and neither is it on this side. So that means that we have parity on both layers, and our corners need an adjacent swap and another adjacent swap. So we would call this AAB, or adjacent adjacent B. So if I put these corners here, then do the algorithm, then that permutes the corners correctly and fixes the parity. So as you can see, now we have a U-perm, which is a possible PLL, and another U-perm, which is a possible PLL. And that takes 35 algorithms, and the average move count of those algorithms is about 12 moves. The next step is to just permute the edges of both layers at the same time. So here we have a U-perm and this other U-perm, and I think the algorithm for that is like this. Yes. So, yep. And then the final step is just to intuitively permute the E layer. So I would kind of rotate and just do it kind of like roux. And now just fix everything, and yeah, that's CPEA variant. For the edge permutation step, it takes 24 algorithms and only 16 if you're doing like rotations or like reflections or mirrors, and they take about 9 moves on average. The next 3-look variant we have here is called ECP CP. So the first step is just CP. You don't have to do edge alignment or anything, just pure corner permutation. I think this takes 8 algorithms, but I haven't found good ones yet. Basically, so we have 2 adjacent back here, so these 2 switch and these 2 switch. So we just do the algorithm, not worrying about the edge alignment, and then you just permute the U and D layer edges in one algorithm. So I see these 2 are opposite, and we have the OB perm here, so just like that. And then finally permute the E slice. And yep, that's ECP CP. There's also the inverse of that, where called ECP EP, where first you permute the U and D layer edges, and there's only 8 algs for this because you don't have to worry about the corners, but then you have to use like 80 different algorithms to permute both corners at the same time. It's just like a lot of corner combinations. And then of course permute the E slice. And so the final 3-look variant of P3L we have here is called ECP LBL, which stands for layer by layer, and basically you just do a layer, another layer, and then another layer. So that's just 3 looks, 1 look per layer. So here we have a U-perm, just do the U-perm, and then permute the E layer, I guess, for their second look. And then for the third look, we have an E-perm. So yeah, just permute each layer one at a time. And the good thing about that is that there's only like 43 algorithms, including PLL with parity. Alright, so now we will be looking at the 2-look variant. So to permute 3 layers in 2 looks takes more algorithms than it does to permute 3 layers in 3 looks. That's okay, because we want to be as optimal as possible for speed solving this method. So here we have the first 2-look method, and it's called ECP CPES. So the first step of that is CPES, which stands for corner permutation and E-slice. So we're going to be permuting the corners and solving the E-slice at the same exact time. So in this case, I have opposite on top, opposite swap on bottom, and these 2 in the E-slice need to swap. So there's a very good algorithm for this case, and it's something like this. So that permutes the corners and swaps, and solves the E layer. And then you're just left with permuting the edges of both layers, which is, I think, like 50 algorithms. So we have opposite on bottom and this adjacent swap on top. So it's like that. And then, yeah, 2-look P3L with ECP CPES. The next one is ECP PESEA. I know all these acronyms are like kind of long and hard to keep track of, which is actually kind of funny, but yeah. So ECP PESEA, which I just call PC for short, because it's like sea, like the ocean, get it? Haha, yes. The first step of that is PC, which stands for Permute, E-Slice, and Edge alignment. So basically you permute the E-Slice while fixing the edge parity. So if we look on bottom, we have a J-perm, so there's no parity, so that means that there's parity on top. So we can just solve the E-Slice while fixing a parity like this. This next step is to permute both layers at the same time using 484 algorithms. So that's a lot of algorithms. Here we have like double J-perm, so yep, 400 algorithms is a lot, but about the same as ZBLL, I guess. So the final 2-look variant we have today is the ECP L2L variant. L2L stands for last 2 layers. So the first step of this is you just want to solve the top or bottom layer, whichever one you prefer, then solve the last 2 layers in one of 219 algorithms, which honestly isn't that much algorithms. It's a manageable amount. So in this case, I could just solve the bottom layer here. So just solve one layer using 43 algorithms. And if you do this on the D layer, you can have good look ahead, because during EO phase, you can tell what it's gonna be when you're making it. So you can just know what the PLL is gonna be for later. But then the next step is to just permute the last 2 layers at the same time. So on the top here, I see I kind of have W perm, and then I have like this sort of weird swap thing in the E layer. So there'd be an algorithm that you just do an algorithm and it magically solves the cube just like that. So yeah. And obviously the theoretically best variant would just be to permute 3 layers in one look, but I think that's like over 18,000 algorithms, so that's probably not going to happen anytime soon. So on the top here we kind of have an E-perm, but these 2 are switched. On the bottom we have like a G-perm, and then we have this E layer. So you just learn an algorithm and solve the cube, but it takes like 18,000 algorithms, so. And finally, to wrap this video up, let's talk about some variants that are not specifically variants of P3L, but just of the whole entire method. So you could always just not do edge orientation and just build a face and then do COES, except there's a lot more algorithms. I'm not sure how many that would take, but that's an option. Technically, some variant without EO. There's also Triangium's variant. Cool person on Discord invented this variant. After you do EO face, instead of doing normal COES, like corner orientation and edge separation, it's just COE, so corner orientation and the E-slice. So it solves corner orientation and the E-slice in one algorithm instead of just putting them in random spots. But that would take like 2,600-ish algorithms approximately. So that's quite a lot of algorithms. But once the E-slice is solved, you could just 1-look P3L, except now it's just PBL because we solved the E layer in like 900 algorithms to permute both layers at the same time. And of course, there's probably other variants that no one's even thought of. If you've thought up of a variant, let me know in the comments down below. And don't forget to leave a like on this video and share it with people who want to learn ECP, because there's definitely people who want to learn ECP method. Anyways, I'll have the algorithms linked in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and if you could subscribe, that would mean a lot to me. And I'll see you guys in the next video.